There's a big state capital project that's coming in the next few years. It's called the South Springs Airport. Have you all done a quantitative analysis in terms of what potential usage might be and what the rate impact could be in terms of lower rates for surrounding communities? Because of the concentrated usage that's going to come out of that airport, it's going to be actually massive. So one of the actually look at that. That's both on the water side and actually the sewer side.
So we had discussions with the Department of Transportation who's running the site, but it was really limited in scope just to where we could run our pipe, where they would allow us to run our pipe through their properties, right? And so,
Greg, we need a little, repeat the question if you could.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Because it's a little hard to hear.
So he asked about the airport and the potential for usage there and how that might benefit neighboring communities, right? And I think number one is it's going to take, if that does happen, right? Number one is we want to make sure that we got our easements outside of their area because we need their cooperation because they own so much land between here and Mantino, right? And so they're working with us to provide an easement so we can run our pipeline through down a right of way, down a roadway, right? So we'll be out of their way, we won't be in their way, it won't cost the customers any more expense for us to move our pipe if they were to develop the site. But having said that, we've not factored in anything with the site because there's nothing concrete to build it upon. I can't go to the commission in front of a judge and produce evidence that I don't have. It's very difficult to get any kind of real concrete commitment on that, right? As opposed to this industry that I talked about, right? This industry that I talked about earlier, that consumption, that benefit is being factored in because we have concrete data from them saying, like, this state will use this much, and they really guaranteed that they would take it, right? In exchange for having us make sure they have capacity. So while I could make projections of that, I don't think even if I did, that they would hold up in the litigating process in front of the witnesses and the judge.
All right, what I'd like to do, let me do one question, couple of questions that were handed in, and then email. When is water tested for lead?
Right now, we're actually testing for lead in University Park right now. I know Cindy's actually collecting samples back. So when we test for lead, containers are actually delivered to certain people's homes, and it's their responsibility to pull that sample for us, and then it's sent in for lead testing. What I can say in University Park is we don't have any lead service lines in University Park. It's a newer system, so there are no lead service lines in University Park.
And I don't want to rain on your party, but I have information she doesn't have, and that is that I got an email today, and she's been really busy, so I apologize for doing this. But Kevin did send the samples out, and there's zero lead detects in all the samples, right? So it backs up what Melissa's saying. It's a new system, fairly new as far as service lines.
So there's going to be a new system.
Yeah, correct. You said that totally wrong. You put me in a panic a little bit. Thanks for that.
I didn't want to make it seem like she didn't have the answer, but she did. But she did. Yeah, he sent out all the results, and there's zero lead detect on all samples, which makes complete sense considering all the service lines in that are fairly new and almost all built under the new no lead era, right?
Very good. Lovely news. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Craig Melissa. Hello. To the village and bringing good news and good bearings. Just a quick question, basically. Chicago, the city of Chicago, they have water agreement, intergovernmental agreements with different communities coming down the pipeline from Chicago on to maybe Chicago Heights, where they get water from Lake Michigan. Where the city of Chicago gets paid off of Dalton, Riverdale, I'm just naming, it may not be them, but just coming down the line. Now, being University Park being initially off of the Mantino line with the Kankakee water, would that be something that would be beneficial to us moving down in the future? Maybe let's just say Frankfurt wants to tap into this pipe that we're building here. And if Frankfurt comes over and taps into this pipe and they pay for it or what have you, the water that's coming through, would there be any type of procuring causes of financial gain for University Park in that juncture, or any other juncture for that matter? And then also to piggyback off of Trustee Williams' question, as far as the communities that we service, that you service already, would they actually buy into that 43% as well, or are they bypassed and then University Park is the one bearing the burden of the $30 million?
Yeah. So the first thing is Chicago Water. Each of those communities owns their own water supply as you go along. So Chicago sells to, say, Oak Lawn. Oak Lawn then pays Chicago, marks it up, and sends it down to Country Club Hills, and then sends it to Maxim. And all along the way, these folks tack on their charges. By the time it gets down here, you're talking the $15 a thousand that Melissa was talking earlier, right? Way more than what Chicago's charging. Ours is different. Ours is a regional source. Under our proposal, and traditionally how this works, is that regardless of how far you send the water, the customer at the end of the system pays the same amount as the customer at the start of the system. That's a consolidated rate structure, right? And so nobody in Kankakee benefits from water at University Park other than how I mentioned to Liz, right? Is as you get growth, just like if you grew within the village of University Park, as more customers come on the system, it spreads the cost amongst the same cost amongst more customers, which lowers unit cost, right? And so that's the benefit. The benefit is that it provides a tremendous opportunity for economic development and growth within the community. You're not going to have another community upstream of you that's tacking on charges that are out of your control, because in many of those communities, they can just pass an ordinance increasing rates without having any oversight, any ICC, any regulatory approval, right? So that's what we're doing. It's a regional system, and we're proposing that our rates here are the same as the rest of our regional system, but really the cost is more than it is elsewhere.
Okay, so moving further down in the future, then the rate could possibly decrease as opposed to going up later on because of the pipe of the duration of time. So if the actual rate can come down from the 143%?
She's
It depends
asking,
on growth.
yeah, I just want to repeat it, that she's asking, is it possible for the rates to come down at some point?
Yeah, it depends on growth. Depends. You get one industrial user, a big user, or something that comes in, it can make a big difference on the system. But you're part of the bigger system, right? And so you're getting the benefit of that rate subsidization, right? Like she mentioned in her presentation. And so what that means is that if a customer would come here and use 1 million gallons a day, it would benefit University Park, but it would also benefit the rest of the people throughout the regional system. It's kind of like you get the benefit of having the lower unit cost, being at the very end of the system and having the higher cost of getting the water here. But if something really good happens, that gets spread just like the costs are being spread, right? The good stuff gets spread like the bad stuff gets spread.
Great question. I want to go through a couple more that are handed in. We also want to make sure we leave time. We've got great experts over here, your friends from Aqua, and a lot of super information on the side that you might want to spend some time talking to them directly. But let me ask this is an interesting question because it's written, will the water pressure increase with the new system? And it doesn't say here, but maybe there's also this person's experienced a water pressure issue. So you just respond to both of that. One is water pressure related to will it increase with the new system, the new pipeline?
Yeah, so with the new pipeline, it's still the same system that's in place. It's just bringing bringing the Kankakee water to University Park. So it's all the same infrastructure that's actually still in place. So you really wouldn't see an increase in pressure. That's what the capital investment that we make when we do those main replacements in the system. That's when you'll notice an increase in pressure.
A couple of other things here. Actually, someone just asked, can they get a set of the presentation documents? And some of them are in the handouts, but I think perhaps the whole PowerPoint, can we make that available? Right? Okay.
I don't have them with me.
No, we don't have them with us, so we'll find a way to make that available.
Yeah. Maybe what we can do is provide it for the village. You got a place you can.
Yeah, how about
post it or
that?
something?
Yeah. Okay, that's great. And then that'll include everything you have on your table. One of these questions says, what is the difference between Chicago water and Kankakee water pipeline? What is the difference between Chicago water and the Kankakee water pipeline?
Well, I think I talked before about the economic differences and how the rates are made, right? As far as water quality, it's very comparable. I don't know if Kevin wants to talk. Do you want to talk the difference between Chicago water and University Park water? Very, very comparable. Our water hardness is about 8 grains, 8 to 10 grains on any given day. I think Chicago's around 8 or 9, right? So from a hardness standpoint, iron, there's virtually going to be 0 iron in this system here. So I guess I would ask, besides iron and hardness, is there anyone else that has a question about a parameter of Chicago water that we can help answer? Because there's all kinds of things we know.
Well, one difference with Chicago and our water is Chicago water is.
Hang on just a minute. There we go. You're your great voice.
Thought you guys were yelling at me
for
There
being
you
too hot. One difference is that Chicago uses chlorine for their disinfectant. We use chloramines, which does not taste like chlorine. So when you taste Chicago water, you can sometimes get a chlorinous taste in the water. We use chloramination, which eliminates that chlorinous taste in the water. So that is one thing I know that there is a significant difference. I grew up on Chicago water and I like it, so that's, it's very comparable to our water, it really is.
But ours are the best tasting. There's evidence to show that, right?
Well, you have to like the way a pool tastes, right? If you're doing
Now, Chicago has excellent water. Lake Michigan is one of the best water sources in the world. We're just blessed to have a very great alternative supply in Kankakee.
Well said, well said. We have one more question that was handed in, and keep in mind, we've recorded all the others so that we'll be able to have that in the report. This one says, since the inception of the small grants program in 2012, has Aqua applied for a small grant to reduce costs to residents?
So historically, we have various times tried to take advantage of grants. As a private utility company, we are pretty far down the list from municipalities. And the honest answer is we just don't get them. We don't get awarded grants. We do as much as we can to take advantage of low-interest loans and other mechanisms that are available to us. But in the cases where we've attempted to get grants, and we just have not been successful.
Do we have some other questions? Okay, a couple of people, by the way, asked to speak directly with an Aqua representative after we break up here. So people are going to stay around for that. But
I thought I was late getting here.
no problem. Thank you for coming.
I have addressed it. I have the Pelican system tank, the salt and all that stuff. And so are you saying I can get rid of that bill once this pipeline is?
Yeah. If you don't mind me asking, what does it cost you?
Safe to drink and everything?
Yeah. What does it cost you per month for your Pelican service?
It's like 100 in that area now because of the salt bags, the delivery of that.
That's not every month, is it?
Yes.
$100 a month.
Yes, sir.
Well, you will be able to do away with that $100 a month consistently.
It's going to be ahead of the game.
Paying them on water because I got that, the aqua.
Well, whatever your cost is for that, you won't need it. I live in a house that was on a groundwater system and then switched to Aqua at a later point. And the previous owner unplugged it, and it's sitting in my pantry room doing nothing. So,
Right. So, I'm Tino, and we don't filter. There's no filters. There's no softening. I get ice out of the fridge and then I fill up with the tap. And we trust it with our little baby. He's 11-month-old yesterday, and it's great. Thank you.
Yeah,
It's pretty cool.
I think one of the things too, as I mentioned before, we have big industry expanding. It's CSL brand. If you're on Route 50, you can't miss it, or 57, right? It's a pharmaceuticals firm. It requires very, very high quality water for its operations. And so we really feel good that a worldwide global company is expanding our operations here. And we're spending about $500 million to expand the facility within our footprint. It's pretty good water.
Well,
One quick question, has this water been tested for alkalinity? Alkaline, what's the level of alkalinity in the water?
Alkalinity, Kevin?
It's about 40 milligrams per liter.
It's about 40 milligrams per liter. It is an alkaline water source. The pH coming to your house is above 7. So if you're a person, a lot of people say alkaline water is healthier for you. The pH coming to your house is about 8.5 right now. So it's an alkaline source. That's because of the lime softening and the treatment process we use.
Kevin, could you just explain? Yeah, actually, it's a great question, and I just thought you gave us some numbers there, like 8.5, and could you just explain what that means from just a benefit, human benefit standpoint?
Sure. pH range at neutral is 7.0. Anything below that is acidic and can be corrosive. Anything above that is not corrosive, and the higher range, anything between 8 and 9, is actually considered alkaline water, and you can buy specialty bottled water that says alkaline on it for a lot of money, and you get that delivered to your house every day.
We have a question right here.
Just help me understand, if University Park is I'm back at this 18-mile pipe, and you're telling me Frankfurt, example, can tap into this pipe if you go and sell the same spill to them, correct?
Well, I have to go to the ICC on that.
Okay,
Is there
and if you
outside
do
the
it, I'm
territory?
sure you will, because your growth don't stop here in University Park. You're not gonna charge them the 18 miles that we just paid for when they tap into it. How does that benefit you people?
They would get, so first off, we'd have to go to the ICC and request that we could service that territory.
Okay, say it all the way through.
Then they would look at
I'm just
that
trying to say-
and see what the impact is on the existing customers, right? One of the things that the ICC looks at when they ask us, when we ask them, we want to expand our territory, one of the things they ask is this in the public interest, right? Are we capable of funding the improvements? Are we sound financially? And then are we, are it in the public interest? And so they'll look at it and they'll say, they look at it and there's a tremendous amount of benefit associated with rates and revenue coming in. Then the ICC might say, hey, you need to come in for a case and reconcile this. And we have to come in
How
and
do you
reconcile.
sell pipeline from here to Frankfurt? You don't sell the 18 that we just paid for.
It's all factored into the rates, right? And so if you get like a Frankfurt that would come in, or any community that would be of substance like that, that really would be, that would move the needle. That would be something that may positively impact your bill. It has to be done through a rate proceeding at the commission, because we can't just arbitrarily decide rates on our own. It all has to be done through a litigated process. And for something that big, they might ask that we do so. Again, if any growth is good, right? For
We're not clear.
Yeah, I don't think we're quite getting at it. So I think it's let's see if maybe I can help with a scenario.
What is
So-
it, layman's term? I don't know what I
Right,
was thinking
yeah. So if we're talking about, so now everybody's gonna have a certain rate increase, and they're gonna be paying per month for new water through the new pipeline, right? And what you said was that's paying for part of the pipeline, but you said other people in the whole Aqua system also is helping cover
Yeah.
the pipeline costs. So there's already contributions coming from people outside University Park helping pay for that pipeline. Did I say that correctly?
Yeah, so let's look at it this way.
That's step one. That helps, right? Okay.
Let's look at it like this, like a pie, right? We make the same money regardless, okay? So it's a pie, and it's split up in various chunks, right? And the more people that we get to participate in that, the smaller your chunk has to be, okay? That's the bottom line, is the more people we can get eating the pie, the smaller it can be. Now, if it takes investment to get more people there to eat the pie, well, then that's what the ICC decides. Is it worth it? Should we even be doing it? Should we be expanding it or not? And if we expand to a Frankfurt, is it to the benefit of our current customer? Okay? And that's what they do. They have to decide. They're not for the people in Frankfurt. They're for our existing customers and making sure they're treated fairly. And because we can't approve any rates on our own, it all has to go through them anyway. And so what our job is to decrease that piece of that pie as much as possible without increasing the size of the pie, right?
So let me help reframe that a little again. So if another community is added to and gets to tap into this system, this pipeline, then there are more people helping pay.
Exactly.
There's more people
Spreading
helping
cost
pay.
amongst more
And
people.
what we talked about, while because the systems always have to be there's always repairs and improvements and aging and things like that. But the potential is there. You can never promise. The potential is there. If you have more people, the larger the system gets, the more users in the system, then the potential is there, at least for rate stabilization, and then perhaps even rate decreases. Right?
But I thought you just said earlier that 30 million was for the University Park pipeline. That 30 million isn't going to be paid by everybody. It's the University Park pipeline, which would include Green Card.
No.
Tapped into it.
Yeah, no. So
Go back.
the
Let
30
him
million
repeat
is invested directly here, but that cost is spread across the entire state, right? And so the amount that's being absorbed by the University Park customer is nowhere near.
So that 30 million isn't just University Park customer pipeline, that is $38.
The pipeline itself is 20 million. Overall investment over the past 6 years, or including the 6 years, is 30 million. Invested here locally, but it won't be recovered under our proposal, at least to the commission, it won't be recovered entirely locally. It'll be recovered across the state.
Right.
Right,
So
the cost is being spread.
Everybody in the state of Illinois is paying $38, what the average, $38 more. So that 30 million is being divided by everybody in the state of Illinois that is on Aqua water. It's just not the University Park pipeline or area that is paying for that, but everybody in the state of Illinois that is on Aqua water is paying.
That is our proposal, and if it wasn't that way, then you get the number that Melissa showed that was like $60 a month. That's the alternative if we don't spread it, right? Right. And
So
so,
the other customers are subsidizing University Park's investment.
yeah, now, you know what, there'll be people in the state that don't like that idea because they're not getting the softened water, right? But we believe it's a prudent investment. We believe it's reasonable to charge rates that people are paying elsewhere for the same product here. And we think it's, over the long haul, it will benefit, because I think it will bring growth eventually, and that'll benefit folks here and across the state. So they're helping front it on the front end, but I think they're really hoping that it's over the course of time that there's a payoff.
So
in the
somebody
back.
that is with Aqua Illinois in a different part of the state that does not have Kankakee water, they are paying for part of this.
Correct.
pipeline and everything. So when you do something with their infrastructure, we're gonna get the increase. We'll get part of that increase too. If something's done with their infrastructure.
Yeah, it's all in one big pie, like I said. It's all one big,
How many customers did you say Aqua has? 70,000. Thank you.
compared to the 2,500 that are here.
We have a question right here, this gentleman, and then over there.
Do you share, I never looked on your website for this, do you share with the residents an income statement that actually shows, the breakdown of your expenses, revenues, things like that?
Yeah, so if you want to go on the website, you can see any SEC filing, you can see about Aqua America. If you want to see detailed information about Aqua Illinois, you can go to that website I talked to you before about the ICC, and all that's in there. There's hundreds of pages of wonderful documents to sift through on our financials and other things. Well, it'll be proposed for the 17, but yes, right?
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Hi. My question is, for approximately 10 years plus, I've paid approximately $67 for my water bill here. For the last 2 to 3 years, at this time, I've downsized my household to 2 from the 3 that was typically $67 a month for over 10 years. So for the last 2 to 3 years, with the 2 same people with the same water usage, now it's $99 to $107 a month. And I'm not sure why, but this has been ongoing. So is there anyone I can speak to, and how do I figure this thing out as far as why the amount is?
We should have you start off with Leslie back there. She's at the front table. Let's have a look at your usage over time, and maybe we can get Cindy to send somebody out to take a look and see if there's something going on there. If we have one of those readouts like we're putting on now,
Rates haven't changed, so yeah, we're gonna have you talk to customer service.
yeah, I'm assuming something else is going on there that we should investigate.
Right. Listen, one of the things I want to say to everybody, and I'm sorry we didn't get a chance to say that some people, it's getting later, people wanted to leave, but you've given us very thoughtful, very important questions tonight, and really can't thank you enough for the opportunity that you've given our team here, the Aqua team, to explain a lot of these different parts. Some of it's complicated, but you've shown a great understanding of it and how important it is. So I want to thank you so much for coming tonight.
Will you be attaching those questions to your report?
Yes, we're going to do a whole roster of questions. And I think, if people want to stay and ask a few questions, but I'd almost like to say we could wrap this up, this part, spend some time with the staff here, and Craig and Melissa are staying here too. So if you want to ask them some questions directly, is that all right? Okay, you get up some coffee.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you so very much. Great.
Thank you.